You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 152, The Downside of Optimism. If you're a business owner who wants to improve your time management and elevate your productivity so that you can maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me here today. We're going to be diving into the topic of the downside of optimism. And all I can say is stay tuned because I don't think it's what you think it is. Before we get to the straight talk, hit pause and go grab the Take Back Your Time mini training. It is completely free. I have created it with you in mind, and I want to show you how to reclaim 30 minutes back each and every day. Head on over and grab the mini training over at theproductivityspecialist.com/take back your time. And now let's get to the straight talk. Okay, now before we jump into what I'm going to share with you, let's first start off with that if this is your first episode, go back and listen to any of my past episodes. I'm all about positive thinking, positive mindset, being incredibly optimistic. But there are times, like I'm going to share with you in this episode, where clearly being too optimistic is backfiring and sabotaging your productivity and, ironically enough, your mindset. All right, I'm going to share with you 4 ways that I see business owners being way too optimistic on a regular basis. Number 1, you are too optimistic about what you can get done in a day or a week. And therefore, you plan your task list way too long, right? Like you think you're going to get 10 things done and inevitably you get 6 or 5 or 3. Whatever that number is, you're pushing the line. You're thinking, of course I can get those 10 things done. And when you do that over and over again, all that's happening is you're ending your day and your week feeling incredibly defeated. Now, let's just say that you have really good time management. You are really efficient. This is the perfect situation. Even in the perfect situation and practice of productivity, life happens. Our energy is different each day. Emergencies do actually happen in our businesses. And so are you planning your days and your weeks more realistic or incredibly optimistic time and time again, yet to just feel defeated? Now, I have seen this many times with my own coaching clients, and this is an adjustment of looking at what's actually realistic and being okay with that. Defining what productivity is for you on any given day or given week is being really clear about what you are going to focus on and get done no matter what. Now, I do get some pushback of like, well, I actually have 10 things to do. Yes, you have 10 things to do. You probably have 100 things to do. But if you plan and expect to get 5 of them done or 3 of them done and you have extra time, that list didn't go anywhere. Go ahead and plow through as many more tasks as you want to if you have the time. But what I'd rather you do is end your day having crossed off each of the things that were of highest priority to you and feeling very satisfied. But that also brings me to number 2. Because you're incredibly optimistic, what I find is that you don't really see a need in prioritizing. Because you can go through your entire day and you're like, of course I have time. Of course I can get all that done. Very positive. But when we do that and we're not looking at realistically how much time we have to get done what matters most, we don't prioritize because we keep telling ourselves, of course I have enough time. And this is when we fall prey to throwing in those small tasks, the letting in distractions. And pretty soon, the things that really needed your attention fall to the end of the day and don't get done at all. So if you addressed your day with a more realistic expectation, you would know that you need to prioritize those tasks to ensure they get done. And again, just like number one, if you prioritize and you have your top 3 that you will absolutely work on first before anything else, then if you have the extra time, you can go on to those other things. But being realistic with how much time you have and assigning a specific task or activity or meeting with somebody, that is a way to finish your day and feeling like you really achieved something, because you have now prioritized the things that matter most, that will move the needle and propel you towards your goals, and not filling your day with busy work thinking you had the rest of the day to get to it. Number 3, your optimism is making you underestimate how long an actual task or project takes. I hear this all the time. Like, I don't know how long a task is going to take. I don't know how long that project's going to take. How do I budget my time? There's no better way to budget your time than looking at your history, looking at the data. And so when you track your time and you're doing activities, tasks, and projects, I want you to look back very realistic, because sometimes we look back at history and we're actually too generous, too optimistic, and we forget that tasks actually took longer. Just because you want something to take 30 minutes does not mean it takes 30 minutes. So I would love for you to plan your day with the realistic data of how long things actually take you to do. Number 4, because you're too optimistic, you're saying yes to every opportunity that comes your way. Because of course you can add that extra thing on. Of course you can do that extra thing, both personal and professional. But along with every opportunity is an investment in your time, energy, and attention. And so if you're not really realistic with what you can handle, what is your bandwidth, you don't really see a need to say no, because with all good intentions, you're saying yes. Now, I have a really good episode 120. If you have not listened to it, it's called Sidestepping Distractions Dressed Up as Opportunities. And I talk about how to identify opportunities or identify them as what they really are, which is distractions. Now, I'm all for a good opportunity. I'm all for moving and pivoting and saying yes to things that come your way, because great things can happen. But often what I find is that there's no discipline in that, and it's not being filtered through your goals, and it's definitely not being filtered through what your bandwidth is and how much time you have. So head on over and listen to that episode. It's episode 120, and I'll link out to it in the show notes as well. But when we're too optimistic, we end up saying yes to all sorts of things without taking into account what we have already said yes to. All right, so those are my top 4 ways that I see small business owners being way too optimistic and it backfiring and sabotaging their productivity. A tip that I have for you is to track your time, to have a to-do list and look at it at the end of the week and see what actually got done, and don't judge it. That's the difference. People don't like tracking their time, and they don't like looking back at their to-do list because they're so busy making their next to-do list and adding the next task to it. If you can really look at those 2 things, so you'd be looking at your calendar and your task list, and look at it without an opinion. It is just data. It is literally going to tell you where your time went. It is feedback, and it is neutral until you make a story up about it. But that data, if you're willing to look at it, will be the information that you need to make realistic expectations in the future. So with that data, you can be much more realistic with what you can get done in a day, in a week, in a month, a quarter, and a year. With that data, you'll be more realistic and understand the importance of prioritizing. With that data, you will definitely be able to get a lot closer to estimating how long a task or project takes. And lastly, with that data, you will be very, very aware, because you're reviewing your week and you're reviewing your goals, of what opportunities you've already said yes to and how a new opportunity could either derail you or propel you. I have loved having you listen to this episode of Productivity Straight Talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would love to hear from you. So wherever you're listening to this, take a screenshot, tag me on Instagram, and let me know what you're doing when you're listening to this. Are you cooking? Are you, walking? Are you jogging? Are you exercising? Are you cleaning the house? What are you up to when you're listening to Productivity Straight Talk? I would love to know. Because I don't know if you know, but I am literally sitting in my office all by myself, looking at a computer screen, imagining you. Because I can see download numbers and I can see that the podcast has taken off this last month in April, but I don't get to know you. I would love to get to know you. So head on over to Instagram, follow me at Amber_De La Garza, and tag me in your screenshot of Productivity Straight Talk and let me know how you're listening this week. All right, and before we close out, make sure you grab my free Take Back Your Time mini training. Head on over to theproductivityspecialist.com/take back your time. So that's my straight talk for you today. Until next time, have a productive week.